Let's start with the North London Derby. It's the first game on the menu this weekend, the early match on Saturday. You can find Arsenal as a favorite on Pinnacle at plus 106. This is a competitive derby where neither side has lost a Premier League game at home against one another since 2014. Which side's in Arsenal's favor? They're top the table. Spurs right now in third. Arsenal coming off that convincing away win 3-0 at Brentford. Spurs way back. It was a 6-2 victory over Leicester City where Son came on. All these question marks about Son. Came off the bench, scored a hat trick in just 13 minutes. Head to head.
You said he'd come back, didn't you? You said he got some unfinished business.
It was inevitable. I mean, come on. But like the way that it played out and the build up to the game, it was just simpatico.
I've got to say, watching that in South Korea was something a bit special.
No kidding.
He's like a god over there. So as soon as he bent the first one in, it was pure chaos.
Now he's posing topless in magazines. He's just everywhere, that guy. Head-to-head, Arsenal Spurs have gone over the 2.5 goal total in 5 of their last 7 games. Arsenal has had a clean sheet in their last 11 against Spurs. That's incredible. And Spurs have been the first to score in 4 of 5. Arsenal overall have gone over the 2.5 goal total in each and every one of their last 7 games. Both teams to score 4 of 5 and first to score 6 of 8. Spurs, though, have gone less than 2.5 goals in 5 of their last 7 games. And it's also worth mentioning they got an important Champions League game on Tuesday against Eintracht Frankfurt as well. Tierney is being cleared. He will play this weekend. Some questions at the time of taping about Partey, Zinchenko, and Tomiyasu. Lloris and Davies both have knocks for Spurs as well. Like I said, Arsenal, the proverbial favorite here. What do you make of this one this weekend? There's a lot of momentum behind Spurs. They've caught the eye. They're a competitive group, but Arsenal, their form is exceptional as well. Should be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a cracking game. And I think the head-to-heads, recent head-to-heads anyway, have been really high scoring. And that's kind of where I'm going for the betting angle, because the way in which both teams set up and play is inducive for high scoring football. And yeah, over 2.75 goals, minus 111 on Pinnacle at the moment. That's the bet for me. It might be my best bet of the weekend.
Wow.
Just purely because the sort of, the way in which these set up. And I did a little bit of looking, and you tend to think when Conte travels away to a fellow Big Six team that he keeps things tight. Not been the case at all since he joined Spurs. Only one of his games has gone under 2.5 goals out of 5 away to the Big Six. He's had a 3-2, 3-2, 2-2, and a 3-0. So, they go for it, which is really, really nice to see. And I guess part of that is through the ability in the counter-attack, the way in which they're allowed to counter-attack. And yeah, Arsenal will be playing as the aggressors. I very rarely oppose Arsenal when they're playing at home because they are so good. They played at such a high level over the last 22 games. So since the start of last season, averaged 2.3 expected goals for per game and 1 expected goal against per game, which is really, really elite. It's not too far off the likes of Man City and Liverpool in terms of overall process when playing at home. But you can't oppose Spurs at the moment. I've been high on them ever since the start of the season, and this Arsenal team, in my opinion, haven't really been fully tested yet. And this is the big test now. This is the big one. It's a home game against your fellow rival, a team that many were picking to finish above you, a team that did finish above you last season. Show us what you can do, basically. And I think that they will be going out, playing on the front foot and trying to create chances. And that will lead to a high-scoring game because Spurs are more than capable of picking them off on the break. So goals all the way for me. And I think these two are very evenly matched at this moment in time. I just think that Spurs have got a little bit more quality in the final third.
Yeah, it's one of those because the numbers that you present all back and support Arsenal in this game. But my heart and kind of the eye test, what I've seen this season, it suggests to me that Spurs can be competitive here. I think they're better in attack in terms of personnel than Arsenal. The only place where Arsenal, I think, are a better side right now is at center back. Saliba and Gabriel have been great. That's why my initial lean, I had a small lean to Spurs win or draw at minus 115. just based upon how competitive I think this game is. And if you go through the head-to-head in recent vintage, I know last season both sides came away with a home win, but there's been a lot of draws. These sides have played to a lot of like thrilling draws back and forth, 1-1s and 2-2s across the board. So I had a small lean to Spurs minus 115, but not enough to make a play.
Yeah, absolutely on board with that as well. The Spurs have actually lost just 3 of 16 away from home since Conte took charge. So they're very difficult to beat, even on the travels. I think they've won 8 of those as well. So a 50% strike rate when on the road, which is a good return, really, especially when he took over what was a very mixed match squad, a calamitous bunch of players that had just looked really, really bad under Nuno. So, I'm happy to get on board with that. For me, I just think that the goals angle is the safest bet in this one, rather than taking a chance, because we could get something similar to what happened last season, where Spurs, they were 1-0 up early doors, Arsenal had a man sent off, and Spurs won 3-0, and you got the goal covered as well as Spurs on side, or again on the other side, Arsenal pretty much covered the goal line themselves in the reverse fixture. So it tends to be a very high scoring game, and I just think following that same pattern is the way to go. Usually when there's derby games, it tends to be quite tight and cagey because there's a lot on the line. But recent North London derbies haven't been like that at all. 3-0, 3-1 last season, 2-1 the season before, 2-1, 2-2 the season before that. You've got a 4-2 in there as well. So I think overs has copped in 6 of the last 9 head-to-heads, which, for me, that's the obvious play. And I definitely think both attacking units are better than the defensive units at this current moment. I agree with Arsenal's defence looking really solid, but when you've got the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, Odegaard, they're going to score goals wherever they play.
Yeah, especially against that Spurs a back line. The other thing that really, really quickly we learned when they played United, Arsenal are vulnerable in the counterattack, especially if Partey isn't able to go. Elneny is out. I do have some concerns there, and Spurs can deliver that sucker punch. They absolutely can with Kane and Son, Richarlison, Kulusevski. Like they have the players and the ability to play out quickly that I think that can cause Arsenal some problems. So those are our thoughts for the North London derby.